Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bible with Jokes, Episode 2. Last time we ended with Eve getting named Eve after committing mankind's original sin and God punishing everyone involved in wildly creative and cruel ways. It's very outside-the-box thinking to look at a reptile and go, you no longer have legs, or a woman and go, the miracle of life will now suck super hard for you. Adam named her Eve because she was the mother of all living, but I assume she never gave birth to any cows or geese. God cast Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden, fashioning clothes for them on the way, like I know I'm banishing you right now, but it's cold, you'll need a jacket. Then he summoned cherubims with flaming swords and posted them at the entrance of the garden in case Adam or Eve tried to sneak back in, which would have been an insane thing to come up against. The descriptions of cherubims and really any angelic being in Christianity or its related religions are certifiably bonkers if you look it up. Like, if you think a chimera or a griffin is a wacky creation, you ain't seen nothing yet. A close approximation, if you're a gamer, is to look up some of the human monsters from Metaphor Refantasio because they were inspired by that kind of lore. I don't really want to jump ahead if beings like this aren't described until later in the Bible, so I'll leave it at that for now. The story continues with Adam knowing his wife. That's what the kids are calling it now, because in biblical times, if you know someone, you're probably banging them. Adam knows Eve so hard she conceives the first child of earth, naming him Cain, and then again with his brother Abel. It sounds back to back, but I'm sure some time elapsed between the two. When she bore Cain, she said, "I have gotten a man from the Lord." I wonder if she gave Adam the side eye when she said that, like, finally a real man. Cain was a farmer, and Abel was a shepherd, and they got along rather famously. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord, and Abel he also brought the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. Cain's offering must have been trash. Abel's out here giving whole sheeps with fat on him, and Cain's dropping his damn bananas on the ground. It's pitiful. God must be on the carnivore diet. Cain was very wroth, which means angry, and his countenance fell, which means his face got very sad. And God asks, "Why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen?" God has a mystery on his hands, and he needs answers. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So at this point, we have no context about why Cain's offerings are bad. If sin at the door is preventing them from being good, then maybe Cain's super lazy. Like, you assume he must be a bad farmer, but it's not all his fault. He's got nobody to teach him, since Adam's farming experience was easy mode before God cursed it, and farming's a way harder job than leading sheep around anyway, so Abel's cruising. Life is not fair for Cain, and he takes it out on life itself. Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, in case you forgot, and slew him. What, we don't get any part of that conversation? God likes your offerings. Yeah, it seems he does. God doesn't like my offerings. Aw, man, that's too bad. I hope you figure something out. I must kill you. As if God's gonna be like, "Oh, you killed Abel? Your fruit magically tastes good now." To be fair, consequences are still a very new idea in this world, and human logic virtually doesn't exist. Nobody's ever murdered before, so who knows what could have happened. Maybe the results would have been awesome. And the Lord said unto Cain, "Where is Abel, thy brother?" And Cain said, "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" Bro is straight up sassing God right now. He invented sarcasm on the spot and used it against the mightiest force in the universe. This dude is based as hell. God's like, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." Wonder what that sounds like. "Help me, I'm blood, this feels weird." God continues, "And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand." Earth confirmed as the first vampire, no wonder it's so hard to kill her. "When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength." I mean, his crops were garbage to begin with, so this seems like a lateral punishment. "A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth." Then Cain says, "This punishment is too great for me to bear." Sounds like Cain needs a good lawyer. Maybe he can get the sentence knocked down to community service. Nobody witnessed the crime, and the only evidence is someone being like, "The blood told me it was him." Of course, there's only 4 people on the planet, and one of them just got killed, so if Adam and Eve have alibis, it's over for this guy. Then we take a turn for the strange. Cain's like, "Behold, you have banished me, and now I'll disappear, and you'll never find me, and also everyone that does find me will kill me." Huh? Some guy finds Cain. Look, it's Cain. I heard about this guy. I'm going to kill him. And then he kills him. And then some other guy's like, I'm also going to kill him. And he kills him. And then 3 weeks later, someone else comes along. Behold, a dead guy. Let's kill him. But God assures him, whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And he'll be forced to form a band that writes songs for Call of Duty. How do you avenge someone sevenfold? If you kill Cain, I will kill you, your wife, your 3 daughters, your cousin, and the mailman. There isn't even a sevenfold to avenge yet. Adam and Eve are the only ones left. This creation story is turning into a Danganronpa episode. Granted, people in this age supposedly live for hundreds of years, so there will be plenty of time for future generations to be born and still want to kill this random guy 40 years after the fact. So God gives Cain a mark, lest anyone finding him should kill him. As punishment for the first murder, God gives the murderer invincibility from being murdered. That's like hilariously offensive to Abel. Oh, the guy who killed you? Don't worry, I made sure the same thing couldn't happen to him. We wouldn't want there to be 2 victims now, would we? So Cain went to live in Nod, east of Eden, and knew his wife. Whoa, back up. This dude got a wife? Where did these other people come from? Where did the city of Nod come from? The Bible sure likes to skip over important background information. I know Eve is the mother of all living, but I didn't think she was out here giving birth to entire cities. Cain's wife is a psycho. She's the type of woman who would be pen pals with a prisoner and fall in love with Ted Bundy. She's so crazy they don't even give her a name yet. She's just his wife. Even Cain doesn't know her name, and he knew her. So she gives birth to Enoch. I didn't realize how many names were biblical. I know Enoch is a last name. Seth is a biblical name. Even Jared is a biblical name as long as there's no footlongs involved. So Cain then builds a city and names it Enoch after his son, and I'm out here starting to suspect that this first ever murderer isn't actually being punished at all. Wasn't he supposed to be a vagabond? How many hobos do you know that are out here building Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Still, though, Cain is winning at life right now. He's got a wife, a son, a home. All he can't do is farm, and I'm sure he's not complaining. Dude probably has his own sheep now, living the life he dreamed off his brother. This next part is just them going down a whole family tree lickety-split, like unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael, who had Methusael, who had Lamech. Then Lamech takes 2 wives, named Ada and Zillah, and he randomly tells them one day, Ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And then it just goes right to, and Adam bore another son named Seth. Like, can we get a little further explanation on this? Lamech killed Cain? Or is he just tooting his own horn like, if Cain gets a sevenfold, then surely whoever kills me should be avenged 77-fold, right, ladies? Maybe that's another book, but why even mention that if you're not going to immediately expand on it? Don't worry, we'll learn more about Cain and Lamech in episode 789. So Eve has her new son named Seth, who she names Seth because God has appointed her another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. So Seth is literally a replacement for Abel, and she says that with her full chest. Every year on his birthday, she's like, Happy birthday, Seth, my other seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. Then Seth had a son named Enos, and there's just no detail about any of these people. I guess they didn't warrant a season of their own reality show. We're on chapter 5 now, and the book pivots to the descendants of Adam, going back in time a bit to say that when Seth was born, Adam, his father, was 130 years old. Seems unlikely. That would also make Eve around that age. Imagine a 130-year-old woman giving birth to anything but a cloud of dust. Oh, but that's what God made Adam out of. Yeah, but he didn't use his reproductive systems to do that, I hope. Giving birth at that age, Eve should have been known as the mother of all Down syndrome. It then says that after Seth was born, Adam lived another 800 years, bringing his grand total to 930. Seems unlikely. The next full page of the Bible is just listing off the descendants in order, how old they were when they had their first kid, and how old they were when they died, in case you need stats for your biblical trading cards. The absolute youngest anyone had a baby in this lineup is 65 years old. What are you doing before that? You hit the clubs and enjoy the nightlife for 5 decades, and then you hit 65, and you're like, maybe now it's time to settle down. There's no way Nod has a thriving local entertainment scene. In those days, you got up, sheared the fields, tilled the sheep, kissed the goats, milked the wives, went to bed, and started the cycle anew. How did we get from here to the Middle Ages, where they were impregnating the 12-year-olds at first blood. Children as a priority shifted insanely dramatically, probably because half of them were dying of gout anyway, and you had to keep trying again. But in the biblical age, where there's no mention of disease or birth defects, parents are in absolutely no hurry to have kids, even though they have no drive or ambition or career prospects to speak of that kids would hamper. Their lifespans are ridiculous here, so that's probably a factor too, maybe the factor. My question is, if people are out here living to be a millennia, at what age do they start looking old? Are the 300-year-olds still clean-shaven with abs and high-functioning sperm? Does my 270-year-old wife still have perky breasts and a spring in her step? Or are the 100-year-olds still wizened and wrinkled and beaten down? They just get to endure 700 more years of it, reaching truly mind-boggling levels of degradation. You see a pile of bones scattered on the ground, like, what happened to this dude? And someone's like, oh, that's Jeff. He's probably got 50 years left, poor guy. The story of Noah's up next, and that's probably a long one, so I'll save that for the next episode. That's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos until you're 1,000 years old, and I'll see you guys next time.